welcome back to Uniquely Sydney. If you are coming back, welcome back. If you're new, hi, as you can probably guess, my name is Sydney. Nice to meet you. How you doing? Today I am continuing a series that I started last time. This is my moving out series. As you can tell, I'm in my little apartment and I love it. But it did not happen overnight, and so I kind of want to just talk about it and document the process for any of you who are interested, any of you that are looking to move out, and then also any of you that maybe just, like I said, interested in my life and for myself, just to see what happened and remember what happened, something I can look back on, and also something that, I can see if anybody is interested in. So, hey, welcome back. I'm a fighter, igniter, yeah, I'm the original. Last time, I started the story of how everything worked out, and I kind of just basically said it was a total God thing, which is still the truth. I really feel like God put everything in place for this to work out, and so here we are. It's a long story, so I split it into two sections, and I'm a little out of breath, and I don't know how much time I really have because I wanted to just go ahead and do this before I have to leave here again. And FYI, this is a totally different day, same shorts, totally different day, I promise. But last time I left off, I think just in the recent past. So just kind of when I decided to start finding another apartment and when I got serious again after lockdown, even though it wasn't a full lockdown, but it kind of, yeah. So I think last time I left off just with the explanation that I had given to my mom of why I needed to move out amidst all of the problems that we were having, just the difficulties with her being diagnosed with breast cancer and all of that. And so, she like I said, she understood it deep down, but it's hard for her to grasp right off the bat. But she left in June, end of June. She went to Mexico actually for treatment for her cancer. But right before that, I started kind of looking at apartments again. One day, I found an apartment that was literally 8 minutes from my family's house, and I went and looked at it, took a friend with me because I didn't want to go alone. And it was really crazy because whenever I saw the listing online, I reached out to the number and I was like, can I schedule time to come see this? And she's like, oh, I'm doing an open house tonight, which was crazy timing. So I went and looked at it. It was an older but remodeled apartment. Cute, close to home, would have been really good for going back and forth to help my mom with her treatments and stuff. But there were some things I didn't like about where it was, and the neighborhood was a little bit, it was on a busy road, and the yard wasn't maintained as well as I would have liked, and the neighborhood was one of those where it's hit or miss. Some people take good care of their yard, and some people don't, and I'm not a big fan of that. Looking at that, and at the time I thought that my mom would stay in, the area at home basically, and go to doctor's offices somewhat close by for her treatments, and she ended up going away to Mexico. So being super close to help with the treatments was not even something that I would have needed to do. But at the time I didn't know that, but God did. It's really crazy too, because the same day I had gotten a call from one of the apartments I was on a wait list for, and she and I were talking on the phone about it and everything, and it was a little bit out of what I wanted to pay, and I was kind of debating it, but I was kind of this is interesting that these cards are kind of falling into place on the same day. And it was also a day that I was, I think, really stressed, and a day that I was telling my mom why I wanted to move and everything. So it was a really, really big day. End of June, my mom went to Mexico for her treatment, and shortly after that, I was kind of I really should find a way to move out by the time she comes back. And she was coming back in 3 weeks, and if she was back in 3 weeks and I was out of the house, I wouldn't be as stressed. She wouldn't be as stressed by me being stressed and crazy. And so we went so I went looking for apartments, and I took 3 of my girlfriends with me, and we went and looked at 4 different apartments one day. and they just were all older and sketchy in some ways, and I was being really picky about it. And my one friend was like, you cannot be this picky about your first apartment. And I was like, hey, but you're right. And I looked at a couple, and there was a couple that I liked, and the one I liked the most was in a fourplex, bottom left, basement, left side of the house. But it was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, and I was like, I don't know what to do. And I never really felt like this is it and the push to just like move forward with it. So I didn't. And like I was kind of like, I don't know why I can't find anything. I don't know what is going on. And like the apartment that I've been on the wait list for, a couple of days after she called me, I looked and walked around that area again, and I was like, I could live here. And I called her back, and of course it had already been taken by somebody else. And I was like, why though, you know? And there was this one apartment that I was on the wait list for, and it was a really nice building, this building. And I didn't remember if I had been on the wait list for it, but kind of every time I would go back and forth on different things, I would think about it. So like for the past 8 months, I had gone back and forth with legitimately every possible like kind of moving out residence I could. I looked into every single thing. It wasn't just like I was gonna rent. Like my mom thought I should buy. I didn't really want to spend money on any of it. So I went and looked into apartments, I looked into condos, I looked into townhouses, I looked into mobile homes, I looked into putting a mobile home on land. I looked into buying a trailer and putting that on land or getting a resident, like a spot in a campground. I looked into buying a house. I looked into buying a house in Oklahoma where my friends live. I looked into just almost every single thing you could. I looked into being a camp host. I looked into living in like an assisted living and helping, like working there and living in there, or like looked for like live-in nanny positions. I looked into maybe like, I don't know, living in one half of an Airbnb and being the person that cleans and maintains it and lives there for, you know, like basically free. I looked into so many things. There was somebody that reached out to me about a live-in nanny position, and so, but every time I feel like I come to my wit's end looking back, I feel like every time I would call this building because I felt like it was a place that I would like to stay, you know, if I rented. And I had to get over like the whole pride of like owning a house straight off. Like how cool would that be? This single lady just owns a house first time she moves out. And also just like the feeling of guilt of like not investing my money or not making my parents happy with my decision. And so I called this building, and I didn't know if, you know, like if they would answer, because every time I called they would never answer. And I called to see if they had anything available, didn't think they would. She answers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you answered. And she was not happy about the fact that I said that. I'm gonna really quickly go though. So if you give me 1 second, I'll be in the correct moment to continue this conversation. So,
hey guys, I'm back and better than ever. Okay. So I just thought I'd finish up my little spiel. Hopefully this angle is not too bad. I went out and ran some fun errands, some sales and retail therapy with some of my homegirls, and then I went and got a smoothie at this cute little vegan coffee-ish place with one of my friends. It was really good. So I'm back though, and I want to just finish my story. So I'm trying to remember where I left off, but basically I think it was I was calling the place I'm at, and I said, hey, you answered, oh my gosh. And she was like not amused with the fact that I said that. And I was like, you know, I was kind of curious, like you guys probably don't, but like, do you have anything open? Any units available? And she said, oh, actually we do. I was like, I don't know if I was on your waiting list or anything like that. And she was like, oh, okay, you are on our waiting list. And you wanted up to a certain amount. And at this point, she said she put me on the waiting list in February. And in February, my idea of like how much I wanted to spend was like the most optimum or whatever amount I could have spent. But it was like one of those things where it was like, that's the best case scenario, but like I couldn't get a lot in the area I was looking for that amount. I was gonna have to pay a little bit more. And so I was like, oh yeah, I realized like that's not gonna really work, so like I can go up to this amount now. And she was like, oh, excuse me. And that's when she said, we do have a unit. And the reason that she didn't call me was because the amount I was put down for, this unit was a little bit more than that. So I said, oh, wow, that's crazy. And she was like, you want to come look at it? And I was like, yes. So I took my friend Sarah with me. We went and looked at it. And she told me, so again, wait list. She said, this is weird. We never have units available for people to come look at. People are living in all the units, and then they give their notice, and we call somebody from the wait list, and we get somebody in right when they move out, and that's how it is, and there's never a vacant unit. She goes, but there have been like 5 people that have fallen through for some reason or another with this unit. And in that moment, it just felt like God was like, here's your sign, maybe you should apply for this. And I was like, okay. So I went and applied for it, was super excited, super scared, because it was a big decision, and I was like, I applied. I actually took a step forward and applied, and I was like, my friend after, she's like, well, if it was me, because I asked her what she thought, she's like, if it was me, I would have gone for it. And I was super excited. I told my sister and everything, and I was like, I could literally have an apartment. This is crazy. And then began this long process. And so for those of you who don't know, there are a couple different types of like government housing, and this is one of them. Yeah, so it's one sect of like government housing, and so it's partially like funded by the government, and you pay for part of it and they pay for part of it. That whole thing took forever to go through, like forever. And so I had to have so much patience for this process. So what happened was I waited and waited and waited, and I finally heard back some weeks later, and she said, hey, just want to let you know that you have been approved. And the thing is, like, they had to go through it, and then like the government had to audit it, to make sure everything was good. So they had to check my, how much I made and all that and stuff. And so it took a long time for that to come back and everything. And I had to be careful with like what I put on the forms, because if I messed anything up, I would have to come back in and fix it. And so I think she texted me first and said, hey, you've been approved. And I just cried, like tears of relief. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was approved for it, but she's like, but you make too much to live in that specific unit. So I want to put you in a different unit that I guess has like a higher maximum salary or whatever. And are you okay with that? It's $20 more a month, and it'll be free at the end of July. I went at the end of June to look at the unit that I looked at, and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess, tell me more about it, basically. And she was like, okay, so essentially it's in our main building, and it's just like I said, send me some pictures. So it was a nicer unit. So the one I looked at before had like cement floors, and had like what I call like a strip kitchen, and black appliances, I believe. And then it had like these kind of like oak looking cabinets, and it had a nice balcony that was probably 6 feet by 3 or 4 feet. It was a pretty big balcony. Quite honestly, I was like really excited for this. So she sends me some pictures, and this unit has like some kind of wood flooring. It has granite. It has, I think the other one had granite. It had like stainless steel. It was bigger kitchen, but it didn't have a balcony. And I was like hung up on the fact that it didn't have a balcony. And I was also hung up on the fact that like that one specific unit didn't work out, because I was under this mentality that like God was going to straight up like plop an apartment in my lap. Like, I was not sure if that was the unit. I was like very scared of the whole process. I didn't want to make a wrong step. It was very interesting to me because one of my friends a while back, she kind of had a promise that God woke her up to tell her, and he said, what I have for you, no one else can take away, basically. And it was actually in regards to them, and I just had thought about buying a duplex together, but he said that to her and said, yeah, tell Sydney that in the morning. And so when there were like those 5 people that fell through with that unit, my thought process immediately went back to God saying, what I have for you, no one can take away from you. And I was like, that's interesting, because that makes sense that this would work out. And when that unit didn't work out, because I was kind of like, God, if you want this to work out, like, help me get this apartment. And it was a different apartment. And so I was like kind of trying to find every possible excuse to not move, because I was scared, I think, and be like, this isn't God's will. I took a friend up into the mountains, and she and I were gonna go film a video of us singing. And I don't hang out with her too often, but she's one of the most like insightful, wise people I know. And I kind of told her what was going on. She had no idea, and she said basically that. She said, Sydney, God doesn't sometimes tell you exactly what to do. Sometimes you have to step out in faith, and I think maybe you're trying to find any excuse to not do it. Like a balcony, really? That's what your hang up is? And I kind of talked to my friend Sarah, who had looked at the unit with me before, and another one of my friends, and they kind of reiterated that same concept. And so I was like, okay, we're going for it. So I think around that time, I think it was after that, I had to go in and fix some paperwork, bring in the deposit, and then I had to kind of wait for it to be all approved fully. I guess there was another audit that had to happen, or I don't know, had to get re-audited because it's another unit or whatever. So I waited a couple more weeks, I think, and I was kind of like going insane, like, did I get it, did I get it, did I get it, did I get it? And so I finally was like, yep, everything's good, you're good to go. And I started buying furniture for it. And then they were like, okay, they move out the 31st. So you probably move the first or second week of August. And I was like, great, crazy, crazy, crazy. And then so began my excitement, and again, like buying all the things for like the bigger pieces of furniture, because I knew I was moving in a couple weeks. And I was like, okay, this is happening. And all the people I would tell or would know about it from me telling them or whatever, or hearing about it, would be like, when are you moving? When are you moving? You're moving this week? You're moving this week? Did you move yet? Did you move yet? And I was like, my patience, God took my little patience that I've always had a hard time with patience, and just went, you gonna learn patience, queen. And I was like, no, I'm not. But I am now, I guess. I mean, God just really stretched my patience, and I was able to move. She texted me on a Monday. She said, can you come in tomorrow? At 4 o'clock, sign papers, and that'll be your move day. And I said, okay, cool. And I said, I'm gonna move the next day, but that's cool. I went in at 3, signed papers with my friend Maddie. She came in with me, I signed papers. I got to see the apartment for the first time. I never had seen the apartment. And there was one phase in the waiting process when she reached out and said, so I think I have you in a handicap accessible unit, so you won't have, like in the pictures it showed a walk-in closet and a nice bathtub, and she said you will have a walk-in shower, not a bathtub, and no walk-in closet, but the bathroom's bigger because it's wheelchair accessible. And she goes, there is one with the bathtub and the walk-in, but it will be available at the end of August, and you'd move in September, yada yada yada. And I said, not worth it. Give me the one with the wheelchair accessible, you know. And I mean, like, I was kind of bummed because I was kind of looking forward to having a walk-in closet for the first time in my life, and having a bathtub that was all my own. But at the end of the day, neither of those things were anything that I used on a regular basis or had like a walk-in. So I was like, okay, that's fine, you know. But then I'd never seen the unit before, so I'm expecting kind of what the picture showed, but again, the walk-in shower and no walk-in closet. And so the people moved out, and so the day I signed the lease, before I signed the lease, she takes me up to the apartment, and it's on the 4th floor, which I knew. And she walks me in, and I was like, wow. And I noticed there's a bathtub, and I was like, there's a bathtub, and there's a walk-in, and I was like, she lied. It's fine. And it was beautiful, and the one thing about the way that the apartments are set up is that it's like, here's the window, the wall with the windows. So you walk in, and there's like your main area, the bedroom, and then the bathroom. And so the windows are only on this wall. So there's no windows in the bedroom, which sucked, but that was kind of how the unit I had seen in the other building was. So I was like, it's fine. We'll live with it. So for the most part, I loved it. And she said, well, I never worry about people not wanting to move here into this building because it's so nice, you know? Like, she's like, I never worry about them only seeing it the day they sign a lease. So there was some cleaning ladies in there cleaning it. I went back downstairs, signed the papers. Eventually they were done cleaning. We kept going up and being like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Because I really wanted to go in and clean some things myself because I'm very OCD. And my mentor Teresa came, and my friend Maddie was with me, and we cleaned and we ate dinner there and we went grocery shopping and brought it back, Maddie and I. And then I went back to my house, my family's house, and then a whole group of people, beautiful people, like childhood friends and just some other friends that I've had over the years that were free on a Wednesday morning, came and helped me move and set everything up. And that will be in a video in the future that I have in this series. Super sweet though. But that's in a nutshell the story of how I moved. And I guess my other complaint one other complaint is that she said that there weren't pets allowed, and they do allow certain breeds of dogs, and I have seen cats. And I am asthmatic, but I think it's been okay because I have hard floors, so it's not like I have furniture that was in there or carpet where like the fur's gotten stuck. Anyway, really random thing. I'm sure there's more details that I forgot, but that's in a nutshell how God kind of worked this whole situation out. This is a place that is nicer than what I could have imagined. So if God's growing your patience, let him. Like, wait on God. He has amazing plans for you, and he has something for you that is better than you can imagine. Trust him, ask him what to do each step of the way, and go. And yeah, that's my story. If I missed anything, I might insert a clip or a little like blip at the end. But if you want more information on like some really great, reasonably priced, affordable housing for moving out by yourself, if you are like me and you don't want roommates, like, I will go into a whole video about that too at the end of this series. If you want to see some of the logistics of like the move and buying furniture, at least some of it and stuff like that, and like a synopsis of like the furniture I got and the good prices and all of that, that'll all be coming up if you're watching this when it's posted. If you're watching this later on, like months or years from now, there should be a playlist on my channel or linked at the end of this video with the whole series. So I hope you guys enjoy it so much. I gotta go. I'm sorry this has been such a long video, but I love you all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay, bye. So you have the door. Oh, frick. Come on. And this is it. So you have the kitchen, or the bathroom here. And this is the tub. And then it has a door that goes to the bedroom. And then we have the main room that looks like nothing right now. And this is my favorite room, which is the kitchen. Can't even see what I'm doing. But really cute. And these are my stools that I bought. Yeah. And then these are these, oh, there's the linen. Yes, linen closet here. And then this is these double doors that go to the bedroom. And then there's the walk-in closet. I already have some of my crap in here, you know how it be. And I forgot too, but in the main hallway right here, there's also the laundry, which this is not my unit, but I'll have mine in there, so yay.